Research critique is an important and often integral part of the process of peer review in research projects, and the outcome of the research project, that is research reports, often have to go through the process of research critique. Literature review, or Chapter 2 generally, is an important part of the research report, including research reports based on research theses or on other research projects. So, like other parts of the research report, the Chapter 2 or literature review has to go through the process of research critique. Now, we have already discussed the general definition or understanding of research critique, but here is a summary of what actually a research critique means. A research critique, as I said in the beginning, is an integral part of the scientific method of knowledge. And so it is generally an appraisal of the aims, the process, and the outcomes of research undertaking. The focus of research critiques generally is on an analysis of the academic value, the strengths and weaknesses of the research undertakings in the form of research theses, reports, and papers. Now, what are the aspects of the literature review that actually go through the process of research critique? Well, first of all, the research critique focuses on the question related to the relevance of the literature review. So, for example, this part revolves around the question such as: is the material presented in the literature review part, in terms of representing the main concepts, ideas, theories explored in the research, is it relevant? Secondly, so relevance is very important. So the research critics who will critically review the literature review will first of all look the literature review for its relevance to the main research topic and the ideas and the theories that have been used to support the arguments in the particular research topic. Second, the second quality that comes under the scrutiny of the research critics is the comprehensiveness. So, is the literature review comprehensive? That actually means, is it something that covers the topics under discussion in sufficient detail? So, sufficient detail is very important. If the literature review does not cover the relevant topics and concepts in the literature comprehensively or in sufficient detail, that will put question marks on its quality. Thirdly, focus. Is the literature review focused and in line with the research topic and the main concepts, or is it out of focus? So focus is very important. In many cases, research students, junior researchers, find it difficult to focus on the topic in terms of literature review, in terms of analyzing and actually finding relevant literature and then bringing in that focus in the argument that they present. And so this is something that is an essential element of a good literature review. The next thing is organization and presentation. Now, so research critique will also focus on whether the literature review is well organized and is logically structured and presented, or is that not the case? So if that is not the case, that will again put a question mark on the quality of the literature review. The next thing is, the next question that research critics ask when they are reviewing the literature review part is that, is the literature review presented in approved format, correct academic language and style? So the research critique will also look, the process of research critique will also look into the format, the proper use of academic language and the required style. So if these are present, that will make the literature review a good literature review. Also, the next thing that critics look for in good quality literature review is the theoretical framework. So the central question is there a clear and coherent framework reflected in the literature review? And this actually means that are the various theories and concepts, they are connected with each other, and they are discussed and analyzed with reference to their relevance and their interconnection or not. Then critical analysis. The question that research critics will have on their minds when they are reviewing literature review is, are ideas, concepts, and theories critically analyzed, or is the literature review a mere narration or description of previous studies? So in many cases, especially junior researchers, student researchers, focus on describing the various concepts distinctly from each other without bringing in their own critical voice into understanding and elaborating and critically analyzing, challenging ideas, coming up with counter arguments. And so this kind of critical analysis is very important that critics look for. The next thing is gap identification and analysis. So does the literature review lead to identification and substantiation of a clear research gap? That is something very, very important. So if the literature review is clearly identifying, establishing a research gap, but not just that, also analyzing the importance or the significance of that gap, and in order to fill in that gap through the current research, that is also something very important for good quality literature review. And lastly, synthesis. This actually means that the research critics will ask the question, is there an overall conclusion or synthesis towards the end of the literature review? In many cases, good literature reviews are also expected to summarize the various sections and subsections and to provide conclusions at the end of every section in order to help the critic related to the overall understanding of the researcher, and also to make sure that that there is critical analysis of the various ideas and the linking up of various ideas. So synthesis is also an important aspect of a good literature review. So these are some of the important characteristics of good literature review that critics will look for when they are when they are involved in the process of research critique of the literature review part of a research report.